It was not supposed to be like this. That's what I said to myself when I stared at my hungover reflection that morning when everything changed. I'd come to in some random hotel room in the middle of a random estate, in the middle of a random part of the UK. And as I looked at my broken reflection in that mirror, I saw a guy looking back at me who was supposed to be 36 years old, but he looked a lot older. And I just looked at this person with pity. I saw the beer belly spilling over his boxer shorts. I saw the red, bloodshot eyes. I saw the chipped, yellow, nicotine-stained teeth, the grey skin, the wrinkles. And I just thought, who is this guy? This is not the guy that I thought I would become. And it wasn't supposed to go this way. If you looked at my life on any other day from the outside, you would think that everything was okay. I had the successful job. I had the Porsche on the driveway. I had the Rolex on the wrist. I had the young family. I had the ski holidays. I had the granite in the kitchen. Outwardly, life was good. I'd entered this corporate world when I was 22 years old. No one in my family had ever been in this business world before. No one in my family had ever been to university or college before. I'd broken the mold, I'd broken the habit, and I wanted everyone to be proud of me. But as I entered this corporate world, this world of work, I felt like such an imposter. Everyone else seemed to know what to say. They knew how to network. They knew the right words to tell people. They knew the right way to live their lives. And I was just there stumbling along. The whole office was playing the networking game, and I was just there in the corner, blown out of the water because there was free coffee. And I was saying to everyone, "Can you believe it? There's free coffee here." And everyone was like, "Yeah, you're at work now. There's free coffee." And I always felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like I wasn't sharp enough. I felt like I wasn't intelligent enough. I wasn't rich enough. I wasn't smart enough. I was waiting for the day that I was going to get found out. But luckily, everybody has a talent, and I found my talent in the corporate world. My talent was drinking, because I was now in this space where you could have free drinks and networking drinks and Monday drinks and midweek drinks and Friday drinks and team drinks and client drinks, drinks wherever you want to look. And I nervously, in my suffering from my imposter syndrome, I thought, well, I'll have a drink, and then I'll have another drink. And then I discovered I could make people laugh and I could entertain them. And I would stumble into the office the next day and the boss would high five me. And he'd be there saying, "Great last night, Freddie, you were such fun." And for the first time in my life, I felt accepted. I felt desired. I felt like I mattered. I felt like I was seen. So I became this entertainer, this party boy, this person who was all or nothing, this guy who didn't have an off switch. And I made this whole persona. But as I leant further and further into this persona to outshine all of my undercover nervousness, all of my undercover shyness that was happening, all of my indiscrepancies started to become bigger and bigger. And I had to work harder and harder to hide this person that I was becoming. And what did I do? Well, I worked harder, I drank more, I stayed up later, I ate more junk. All of this time trying to hide this person that I was becoming, because deep down, I didn't really know who I was. And obviously the warning signs were there. I started getting later for work. My work started to suffer. I was getting in more arguments. I was putting on weight. I was looking like shit. And then obviously I tried to change. I looked at myself in the mirror so many times. People gave me the warning signs, and I thought, right, I need to do something about this. So I did what everybody does. I tried to listen to the podcasts by Robbins. I read the books by Goggins. I tried to feel the fear and do it anyway. I even practiced the subtle art of not giving a fuck. But nothing worked. Nothing worked because I couldn't relate to any of those stories. It's difficult to relate to the millionaire life coach who tells you not to worry about money. It's difficult to relate to the ex-Navy SEAL who's telling you to stay hard when you're a corporate worker in his at that point, late 20s, just trying to find his way in life. I went to the seminars, I had the coaching, I had the therapy, I listened to the motivational speeches when all these adventurers would prance around the stage telling me just to forget about my fears and think positive thoughts and try and do all these different things with your life, and if you can believe it, you can achieve it. And I was thinking, I can believe it, but I can't achieve it. I've got the stress and the deadlines and the family and the commitments and the fears and the worries. I can't do what I want to do because all these things are holding me back. I'm trapped in this life of my own creation. And the more I tried to escape, the more trapped I felt. The more trapped I felt, the more I drank. The more I drank, the more desperate I became, until I got to this stage where I was so desperate, when the world felt so dark, when it felt like there was no escape, I thought that there was no other option but to seek a tragic, permanent solution to what turned out to be a temporary problem. And I had the suicide helpline on speed dial, I had the therapy, and yet still nothing worked. And finally it was my dad who showed me the light. But the bad part of the story is that it was his death that had to happen for me to realise what life was all about. And I still remember that day at work. I was there slumped in my chair, hungover, tapping away angrily at a keyboard because I didn't want to be in this job, I didn't want to be in this life. And then the phone rang. And it was the hospital saying, your dad's been taken in, you need to get there now. So I walked out of the office, nothing but a suit and a laptop bag, jumped in my car, drove 300 miles. And I had that day that we all hear about, but we never actually think will happen to us. When I was having a normal, hungover lunchtime, and then by that evening, I kissed my dad on the forehead and I watched him die. And the truth should be that I walked out of the hospital and changed my life, but the real truth is something different, because that's the Hollywood version of the story. The real version of the story is that after he died, I partied harder, I drank more, I got into more trouble, more mischief, I did even worse at work. I was such a nightmare to be around that I just felt there was no other option but to seek this comfort in all these vices that I had. And then it was when I woke up finally that morning, after trying everything to change my life, after wanting to end it all, I said to myself, what if you just gave yourself one more chance to fulfill your potential? What if you just gave yourself one more opportunity to be that person that you always wanted to be, to leave all that shit behind, to not allow people to push you around, to not let other people's goals and dreams distract you from your own. And that was the first step. That was the first step from being this hungover, broken, stressed, depressed, unfit, overweight, suicidal corporate worker to becoming the person who ran across the Sahara Desert, who broke the Guinness World Records, who published the book, who launched the podcast, who won the ultra marathons, who ran 100 miles non-stop, but most of all, the person who loved who he saw in the mirror, who was confident, who believed in himself. And I know with all my heart that if I can be where I was and then go on to do what I've done, then anyone can achieve anything they want to in their life. Because here's the thing, it doesn't matter how much time has gone by, it doesn't matter what we've done, it doesn't matter what the world has done to us. It's never too late to become the person who you were always meant to be.